There we go. There we go. Peace to the God. You in the building, family. Peace, peace. We gonna get started. Let me hook up this Facebook real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. This Facebook be tripping. Shit. Oh, you know what? Just do this right here. Just do this. Then hopefully they can hear me. There we go. Save changes. 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry. Hold up. We gonna get started in just a second. Let me see if it lets me go live this way. Oh man. We just gonna let that be, y'all. Let me see. It's all good. So we live now. Peace, peace, family. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. For those who don't know me, I am Yogi Alokun, aka the Grizzly Genius. And today we are going to do wealth framework readings. So let me edit this. Because we doing wealth framework. It's a different. It's easy. Let's do this. There we go. Alrighty, family. So today we're going to do wealth framework readings. And so I chose this topic because I wanted to help people start to build understanding of how to use their cards, their birth cards, as well as their cause cards, and give them examples of the effect that follows right behind them. And so this is the perfect segment for those who are trying to utilize their cards as well as start to what we call create perturbations in the light field for cause and effect. And yes, you'll be able to donate. The donation and the Cash App account is in the description to get your cards read. But we're gonna go over, some gems and things of that nature to showcase how these cards are used on a daily basis. But before we do that, because I know I seen my cards for today. I'm on Uranus. For those who don't know, we do predictive sciences with planet motions. I am on a Uranus day. with the three of diamonds. So I know the technology ain't gonna be iffy. So I got to figure out this Facebook thing because they got my joint on private. You know, I'm sitting here trying to go live for everyone. So I'm gonna try it one more time. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna do it from here. Let's do it that way. Video, go live. Maybe this would help. I could skip all the other stuff. No, we're gonna use the whale cam. I need to start the screen. You can see me. Cool. Go live. I like what we doing. I'm going live now. Okay, start new event. They making me go through all this, y'all, just to go live for the people. It's crazy. Yo, shout out to Twitch followers. Make sure y'all subscribe and follow my channels. You can also follow me on Instagram at 7k.yogi, y'all. Here we go. Let me just create this real quick. Well, anyway, y'all can hear everything. So y'all hear me working. Y'all hear me typing and shit. Wealth framework readings. So we get the other people who may want to participate up in this joint. And no, we going live right now. I'll just put that. It is virtual. Facebook Live. Wealth framework readings. There we go. Who can see it? Public. There we go. Create event. And so y'all might have to go through all of this again. So yeah, create the event. If it has been created already, don't need to promote the event. Now, set up live video. We're gonna go live right now. Boom, that's done. Well, framework readings. I know y'all like, man. Got to have things in order. For wealth. Boom, save. Done. Go live now. All right, there we go. All right, let's get started, family. Let's go into this. So, when it comes to wealth frameworks, someone who has created such a great structure of it, his name is Brother Bazir. He's a cosmologist. And the level he broke down how to build your business up using your cards was mind-blowing. He calls it the Entre Persona cards, which is a great title for it. So y'all make sure to check that brother out. His name is Brother Bazir. He's a great cosmologist. When we approach building ourselves up for wealth, the first thing we need to look at is our birth charts. Why our birth charts? Because our birth charts are going to show us our talents, gifts, where our passion may be, in what field, where we may exercise our creativity the most, as well as the type of environments we need to place ourselves into to exercise all of those great energies. And so what does this include? So an example is, let's say your planet, let's go with Mars, is in Sixth polarity, misnomer Virgo. This is a sign that your passion will be in agriculture, systematic structures, health and sciences, earth sciences, and things of that nature. And how do you exercise your Mars energy? 9 times out of 10, you're going to involve yourself in an environment of relaxed and isolated to carry out your work. And then we had to connect it to something. Your Mars may have what we call in cosmology, biocosmology, trines, sextiles, semi-sextiles. These are blue lines that they represent, the good aspects of your chart. And so let's say your Mars is trine to your Mercury. And your Mercury is in, is in first polarity Aries. Well, this is going to tell you that, okay, your studies, first polarity Aries represents defense and intelligence, combat, military sciences, things of that nature. And so your studies in that field will help fuel your passion in agriculture and science. And you may ask, okay, how is that going to be done? Well, you got to think outside the box. You got to use your mind. And so you may study how insects, bees, and things of that nature, or plants defend themselves in nature. And then you could carry that out by writing dissertation on these things, studying them to bring it to the public to learn how to protect their plants and things of that nature. So initially, that is how you carry out your energy of cultivating your framework to start to build towards wealth. And so, what other things do you have to carry out to start to build towards your wealth and frameworks? Then we go to your 3 cards. You got 3 cards. Well, let me say, 5 cards. You got your solar card, birth card. That's going to represent your talents, gifts, overall purpose. Your character card, it shows you how to carry out those talents and gifts, your everyday work. Then you have your key card. Your key card shows you who or what will unlock the potential of the first 2 cards. Then your 4th card, you have your moon support card. This represents your underlying psychology. Then lastly, you have your treasure card. The treasure card represents, what is going to transform you to the highest level or what's going to destroy you to the highest level. And these 5 cards was brought out by Dr. Amaru Namataga Shia Ali. And so these 5 cards create an axis for you to build upon to start to get into your wealth, get into your purpose. And what does wealth actually look like? It is no I in wealth, but it is a we. So we got to come together to build it up. And who are we? A jurisdiction, a tribal government. Aboriginal Republic of North America is a tribal government. And so once you learn your 5 cards and the other aspects that's in cosmology, and we'll go over that in another segment, your mutual Mercuries and your Jupiters and things of that nature, you start to go out, you start to see exactly who you should work with. And if you think, I don't use this, shout out to my team, Jupiter Pot. Shout out to brother Simi and sister Latizakia. Our whole team is published children books. Matter of fact, I didn't even get to make announcements. Shout out to Jupiter Pot. We have 3 children books now published on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. As well as shout out to Sister Latizakia, a brilliant sister, great leader. She has also helped us gain new creativity. She also created a puzzle board off of the She Coloring book, as well as emotional posters for boys and girls. And my team is built off of cosmology. Sister Latizakia, I got a Mars Mutual with. I'm 7 diamonds, she's 9 of hearts. We carry out great work together, finish tasks, etc. Brother Sidney, he's my effect card for my key card, my King of Diamonds. So my 3 clubs, I'm always talking, planning, and I plan well with that brother. He's a soldier. And since his 7 of spades, needs to master the King of Diamonds and, or let me say, follows the energy of the King of Diamonds. We just work well together. You know what I mean? He understands the leadership and the vision and where I want to take the team to. Now, y'all probably thought I was going to get up here and talk about the tools of money. The tools of money. I didn't come here to talk about the tools of money because that's going to come in as you build your team, your network properly, and your skills properly. You got to feed your energy of your Mars energy, your passion, and where you're going to carry out work. You got to feed the energy of your Mercury. What do I like to study? And what's my study style? And how much energy do I put into studying? 30 minutes a day, you should study something. Not only that, but we can look at your birth chart and tell you, okay, what's going on with your health? Ain't met that, man. Talk about my health. I'm talking this money, man. Talking about this health, man. Eat this chicken wing, man. Talking about. Look, brother, if you ain't got no energy to carry out everyday tasks, your wealth potential to make money start to plummet. And I know the rebuttals. I know what your rebuttal gonna be. Man, what about them celebrities? Them niggas, millions and millions, and some of them eat crap. But look at them. They can't sustain their wealth. Their intelligence is off because of their health. They don't even think to hire a proper lawyer or jurist to look over their contracts. They get into situations, baby mama drama and baby daddy dramas and all of these things because they chasing fame. They chasing the tool of money. And you would think they build on their network, but their network is built off of gossip, slander, and all types of dysfunction. So no, they cannot sustain, since they can't sustain a healthy wealth and they don't have a proper jurisdiction teaching brotherhood and sisterhood, their wealth plummets and their kids are left with nothing. You know what I mean? Celebrities' kids are out here struggling right now as we speak. See, Chief Amaru Namataga Shiali said something great. He said, in their world, to be something or to be somebody important, their world is dysfunction. You have to, have millions of followers and, the big platform and all these things. In our world, in the indigenous world, you have to be born. And when you are born, you take your first breath. And that first breath leaves a electrical and magnetizing signature on each of your cells. And this creates the book of you. And in your book of you, you're the script writer. No one else, unless you're unaware. You're the script writer. And since you are the script writer, you could write out, how am I going to carry out these talents? How am I going to carry out my everyday work? What people I'm aware of that would be the key to unlocking my potential, or, the what of it. But before we get there, I got to bring up something that's very important. Y'all gonna hear me quote him a lot. He's Brother Chief Amaru Namatagashi Ali is a king of clubs, and so the master of information, things of that nature. And he talked about qualitative and quantitative principles. Quantitative is the feminine principle. The who, when, where, and what. And then he broke down the qualitative principles, masculine principles, the why and the how. And so once you take on the qualitative principles in relations to building up the wealth framework, you start to understand the how and whys. You start to look at your birth energies and birth cards differently, because you ask yourself, how do I activate, these cards? Why are they activated in this nature? Then you start to break it down, matter of fact, let me put an example on it. Someone who may be I'll use the Ace of Diamonds. The Ace of Diamonds represents new money, new wealth. But Aces also rules culture and arts. How? Well, the how is Aces are ruled by the sun, the motion of the sun, and the sun is closest to us in the fifth polarity, to say. Oh, let me say it rules fifth polarity. Misnomer Leo, which represents arts and culture, leadership, and children. And so now you know the how. So then I will tell you, look, your talents and gifts are cultural impact via values, assets, being of assets, gaining assets, gems and knowledge and monetary tools. But overall, if you break it down further, it's cultural impact. That's your talent. To bring value via cultural impact, the cultures you interact with. Then we go to a character card. Let's say the character card is a 3 of clubs. So how do you carry out your everyday work? You have to get active with your air. 3 of clubs is communication, planning, writing. And so now you carry out cultural impact by going to those cultures and learning other languages. It's language. Then your key card will be key card. I don't have any birthdays, so I'm just coming off the top of the head with random cards. But let's say your key card is say it's a five of hearts. Five of hearts is fives is Uranus, the motion of Uranus, and Uranus rules over 11th polarity. It represents traveling, working in small groups with people. And then it's the heart connected to the five. What's that represent? Relationships, environments. So traveling, going on vacation, and working in small groups with people. Cultivating a very innovative environment and being creative with your relationships and your energy and how you're putting it out. And so this starts to, some people may not recognize it, but this starts to build up a network, and eventually it unlocks. It's the keys. It starts to unlock the first two cards, because now you're vacationing. Then you get to stalk, because you always download. We're connected to the light field, so you always downloading the thoughts to say, "Ooh, you know what? Since I vacationed here, maybe I should just go ahead. You know, I got the tour guy who knows the language, but I should learn the language myself." Three of Clubs, carry out your work. And so these are just different ways to start to build up your wealth framework, just on those basic principles and things of that nature. Then we go further into, you know, your mutuals, you know, who you got mutuals with, you know what I mean, as well as the yearly readings and things of that nature. So give me 1 second, y'all. Let me make sure. Because last time Facebook did not record the live. So let me just make sure, y'all. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in. So let's give 1 second. Let me make sure this time. There you go. Okay, it is. All right. Shout out to the people on Facebook, family. Thank you for tuning in. I had to make sure y'all was in here this time. They won't let me undo that. It's all good, though. It's all good. So, now that we got that portion of it, let me go to the Moon support card. Now we're using the Ace of Diamonds. Yes. The Moon support card for the Ace of Diamonds, the Ace of Hearts. So the underlying psychology is, once again, culture, arts, being creative in your environment. That's heart energy. Aces, culture, art, heart. Culturally impacting via creativity. And then some may ask, man, that's kind of, how do I do it? What art? What do I do? Well, for example, I'll give you an example. My midheaven is in second polarity, misnomer Taurus. So my career and vocations, and we can even add in trade skills. Trade skills is in the fields of economics and engineering. And so if I had those cards, you know, these specific 4 cards, and I was trying to carry out my gifts and talents, you could be Moses West. But you got to think outside the box. Got a 5 of hearts there. You got to think, how can I uniquely impact the culture? And then strategize. How can my Ace of Diamonds be of cultural impact via assets? You Moses West, you create the the water, making water out of the air. And then boom, you take your 3 of clubs, negotiation, persuasion and all those things, and you try to negotiate with another coach and say, look, I got this great product that y'all could use, let's create a deal. Then you can bring it back to your jurisdiction and say, look, this is what it is. And so that's initially how you start to carry out your gifts, talents, and start to use your mind to think of ideas. Matter of fact, let me break it. Well, I may not break down the whole quadration, but I do want to give one point that Amaru Namatakashi Ali brought up. The spades are under the hearts. The spade, and he said it made sense. The spade does not represent work. They represent the idea that leads you to work. And then eventually the hearts on top, you get that emotional fulfillment of, that idea and work, that idea that leads to work manifesting. And so you start to see, like, okay, for those who feel lost in this realm, they feel purposeless, right? And when I tell them, now I could do a person's whole birth chart, right? Full report. Some people know reports be 25 to 70 pages, just depending on what's in the report, right? It's still up to you for your wealth state. It's still up to you to think of, like, how do I want to formulate it? What things do I want to connect? And it has to resonate with you. Now, I do offer a Cosmoship mentorship program to help you build a idea up, from the ground up. But even at that level of it, you still have to use your mind and figure out, what actually resonates with you, what sections you want to go into. And it takes, I don't even want to say trial and error, it just takes experimentation. Because naturally, where all your planets are, some potential of that placement is going to connect with you. You just have to figure out how to exactly line it up. If I had to give you an example, of me. My sun is in 12th polarity. My Venus is in 12th polarity. My Mercury and Saturn is in 1st polarity. 12th polarity represents, I won't even use that word, cosmology, psychology, and high imagination and creativity. 1st polarity represents defense and intelligence. All of those planets are in the 8th house. The 8th house is what astrologers may know as Scorpio's house. And that deals with birth, death, and forensic sciences. So how do I cultivate my skills? I do cosmology, I do psychology, and I also blend it with the forensic investigation. I do forensic investigations, and I also like to peel back the layers of it. And so it helps me become a great cosmologist. And then I also have the ability to apply to my Mars, which is in 6th polarity misnomer Virgo, which deals with agriculture. I have a passion for agriculture, and I apply it to that area. I study bees, how they defend their nest. I study other mechanics, as far as the defense and intelligent portion of it, of other insects and animals and plants and how they defend themselves to cultivate agriculture and things of this nature. So it's all about how you think outside the box, to say. The moment you think outside the box and start to use high levels of imagination, or let me say the laws of cause and effect and possibilities, you start to experiment more. Now, of course, it's a different scene for each type of person. You got people who are even number cars and they may need more stability. They're not as rapid in adaptability, as people with odd number cards. But even those people who are more stable in nature and may have want, because of their placement, stable careers and vocations, even they don't have to be boxed in. Because even people at that level begin to get boxed in is because they only operated on one level of their planetary placements. Once you start to operate all 16 of your aspects, you will never feel boxed in. When you look at they're called the four, well, I call them the four axes. The four axes, the ascendant, this is where we get the treasure card from. And because of Amuro Namataka Ali, I also decided to add in the cards of the descendant, which represents, it's like your sunset, what you need to let go of, what can um, typically balance you too, what can balance you. And then your midheaven, of course, that's the career, that's the vocation. And then your imokole, that's your home and your community and family actions card. And so these four axes, you can operate it. Okay, how do I ascend at certain times in my year? How do I descend at certain times in my year? What vocations and careers do I want to evolve myself into? And then what philanthropy work of community and family actions do I want to carry out? You know what I mean? And those four cards show all of those things. And yes, they initially help you build wealth because now you're building skills. You're building a network. You're building exactly who you should be around. For my honor folks, just because everybody signed those nationality papers, it doesn't mean you're gonna just collab with everybody. No, your Zokin calendar and your birth chart shows you exactly who you resonate with and who you should be working with. That way is a flow, a proper flow, to the creation of, whatever project you got on your mind. And so these things become important to a wealth framework of things. Your cause and effect cards, they show you, okay, what causes do I need to constantly pursue? That way, the effect that comes behind me, that effect card, it's always on this functional side. For instance, mine swap places with the nine of hearts constantly. So is my cause and effect card. So as I get active in relationships and fulfill, you know, my environment and things of that nature, fulfill those relationships, the effect is also, fulfillment for me and, very a push to, get active more in relationships. So these are the things that help you start to understand the wealth framework of things. And so Initially, that is what I wanted to give today. I already knew there was gonna be a just because I'm on my run this day, I'm on $3. I'm gonna make this fairly quick. We 41 minutes in, right? And of course, if anybody got no questions, for me to answer or anything of that nature, we gonna get up out of here. But I do want to leave with this, what I mean? Getting those readers, for the children, because some people have kids. If you get the birth chart readings, and we got a lot of cosmologists, Brother Sydney mastered the elements, Kojo She Shabazz, Sheave Wave Clinic, Brother Bazir, Brother Baak, me, myself. Also, because we got a new cosmologist on the scene. Shout out to my great sister, Angela Vu, who passed a course with flying colors. She's a cosmologist and she does cosmotherapy. She also have Perseverance Prince, and you see it on my Perseverance. She got Perseverance Prince, and she's a dope cosmologist who does readings, 13 days, etc. And so, yeah, we got a lot of cosmologists. And it'll be great for you all when you're planning your children to get those readings because now you know exactly what to put around them. Say, for instance, your kid, Imokole, which represents the home and how the home should be set up. Let's say it was in 12th polarity. You're going to put things around them that's, and depending on what passion if they got passion for music, the water energy represents string instruments, things like guitar, violins, even a piano in a sense too. You also may put, very divination tools around them. Get them into cosmology and things of that nature. So initially, readings become very important because right now, if you look at the world, we've been at a state of building wealth at the age of 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 40, like just getting started in a sense. But it's some people with kids right now, and look, the wealth building for them starts right now. The network building for them starts right now. You can know exactly what other children they used to have play dates with. You're like, oh, that child, King of Clubs, and they got a mutual Jupiter. They gonna do great business together when they grow up. And then, of course, make sure the parents are functional. Make sure they raise their kids right. But now start to sit in, right? Like, yeah, the wealth and we are now play dates children. They grow up, they best friends, and now the respect, the love, the understanding is there, and now they carry out great business together. And that's an ultimate tool for us to use to really build jurisdictional wealth for our nation. And so that's my presentation for today. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go over that. And I appreciate the people who did tune in. I ain't see any comments on or questions on Facebook either. So we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. But y'all know me, I'm goofy, so I'm gonna sing my favorite song because the one thing people like to say, all day, family, all day. I knew you was in here. That's why I use your card. I just use my brother's card. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you guys, look, the more the people start to take this system seriously, the more they'll understand. And I want y'all to stay tuned because I'm gonna start doing forensic cosmic investigations. I'm gonna be using a lot of celebrities. The first one's probably gonna be P. Diddy. I'm gonna have to get into my journalism and all that good stuff to understand that brother's life, but we're gonna do it that way I can show the people exactly like, look, y'all, he built up his wealth, but he just could not sustain it. He just could not sustain it. And so for the people, y'all know I'm goofy, so I'm gonna end it with this, because y'all can't say that I did not tell y'all. Because at Seth MacFarlane, he did say that. Let me see, what is this song at? You got the lyrics? I don't even think you got the lyrics for it. Let me see, let me find it real quick, y'all. Then we're gonna get up out of here. Ain't nobody got any other questions for me. You know what I mean? I do appreciate everybody who did tune in. Shout out to my people on Twitch. Shout out to my people on Facebook. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all share it with your family and all of that. And so what did Seth MacFarlane say? He said, y'all know I got a great voice. I got to turn up. So, but I'm going to come on here. I'm going to put on a concert for y'all. He said, and this is for the children, because y'all don't be planning y'all children. And then even for the ones who plan their children, they don't even think far ahead. Like, look, who else got children? So we start setting up play dates for them. Because what he said, no one ever tells you what it's like to love and lose. How it feels to waken and have breakfast with the blues. No one ever tells you how it feels to walk alone. How it feels to walk alone. But I'm telling y'all what it feels like. It feels disastrous. Because when you ain't got jurisdiction, a brotherhood and sisterhood, it is hard to sustain wealth properly. When your brotherhood is not around to check you when you off your circle, yeah, that wealth becomes hard to sustain. But that's it, y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's your boy, the Grizzly Genius. I will be back on again, maybe next week. I don't know. I just got to see. But I appreciate y'all. Subscribe to the channel and share this with everyone. Peace, y'all.